Christian Miller.
It's time for the Miller's Edge
with four-time SEC champion
and two-time national champion Christian Miller.
Once again with Christian Miller taking him down.
Here's college football playoff national champion
Christian Miller
on Tide 100.9
and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
And welcome into this Wednesday at 100.9, 12:30 WTBC. Hope everybody's doing great. Hope you guys are ready for another fun one here on the show today. We got some more guests lined up for you guys. Like I told you, we're committed to continuing trying to get people on here, talk some football. We enjoy it. I know I definitely do, having somebody to go back and forth with. And then all the feedback we get from you guys clearly love it. So we'll continue to do that here on the Miller's Edge. Up today, we'll be joined by Roman Harper of SEC Network, former Alabama great, plus former Carolina Panther and Saint as well. Roman Harper will join us at 11:30 via the phone line, so make sure you guys are ready for that. We'll talk this matchup, Alabama, Oklahoma, and I definitely want to get his thoughts just on everything about Alabama right now, just what we've seen out of this group over the last few weeks. It's been a few weeks since we've had Roman on the show, so I mean I haven't gotten to talk to him since things have kind of trended in the opposite direction for our offense. So I'm curious his overall thoughts. Plus, we got to get an update on his, I guess, grade for our defense. I know we talked with him earlier on in the season, and he kind of was breaking things down for us in terms of what he saw out of this defense. So now that we've finished and completed this regular season, I'm just curious to get an updated perspective from him on that. So we'll do all that again at 11:30. Roman Harper will be joining us today. And then for tomorrow, not to jump the gun, but just while this is on my mind, we'll have Slade joining us again at the top of the hour tomorrow. Then before that, at 11:30, we'll be joined by Rodney Anderson, former Oklahoma running back, who joined us last time we played Oklahoma. So we got to bring Rodney back on here, right? It's only right. Got to get his thoughts on it. He's going to tell us kind of what the vibe is over in Norman right now before we head that way, which, as a matter of fact, the team will be heading there tomorrow, probably while we're talking with Rodney. So we'll do all that here on this show. Then Friday, we'll be getting you guys ready for game day. Remember, 7 o'clock kick. Friday evening on ABC, man. I can't wait. I'm fired up. I'm excited for it, and I think it's going to be one hell of a matchup. That said, always got to remind you about our friends at the Good Feet store. Make sure you guys go check them out right now. If you're dealing with any type of pain, foot pain, knee pain, back pain, hip pain, you name it, they take care of it. So make sure you guys go check them out. If you haven't already, I'm telling you, these things are game changers. Let them take care of you like they've taken care of me for years now. If you're on your feet all day, you're walking around, you work out, all that stuff, man, I'm telling you, these things will be game changers for you. So make sure you guys pay them a visit. Walk-ins are welcome, but if you'd like to be a little bit more punctual, you're running on a short amount of time, don't worry, just go to the website, goodfeet.com, where you can schedule an appointment. You also can find the nearest location to you. Again, that is the Good Feet store, improving the quality of people's lives 2 feet at a time. Just give you guys a heads up. I already told Chase, man, speaking of walking around and being on your feet, there's some solicitors walking around right now. So if we get a big interruption of dogs barking, just understand, man, and just prep for it. Hopefully I can try to catch them before they get over here while we're on a timeout. But if not, just know that's what's going on. We just got some solicitors walking around, and it is what it is. Just want to give you guys a heads up for you here. Several dogs going at it in the background. Chase, man, before we get to Roman, I hadn't really picked your brain on a number of this stuff kind of going on. I know we talked a little bit about transfer portal news yesterday. I know we're going to get to some press conference stuff too, and I want to probably listen to that. Then we can talk about it, and me and you can kind of discuss it. But I know we've had Ryan Grubb now speak to the media, Kane Womack speak to the media, so I definitely want to dive into that. I don't know, Chase. Did we get a chance to break down anything? Well, actually, we were talking about Kalen DeBoer's interview when we were talking about cutting it up, so that wouldn't make sense. Maybe we can try to try to do that here in a minute. But I do know Ryan Grubb spoke, and there's a couple talking points I want to bring up. The same with Kane Womack, and there's even some from the Oklahoma side of things. They've been doing plenty of media, so I'll try to sprinkle that in. Probably be a little bit more the second hour when we get to that, because we'll have Roman at 11. Probably be with him for about 20 minutes, and then we can take y'all's calls and go back to the press conference stuff as well. 205-342-9904 is that number if you guys want to jump in on the conversation, or you can always hang out with us on the stream over on YouTube. Completely free. We just ask you like the video, subscribe, all that stuff. If you guys enjoy the content, at the Miller's Edge on YouTube. Also on Facebook at Tide 100.9. Very easy and simple to find. Come hang out with us. Come check us out if you want to watch us do the show, all that good stuff. put the press conferences and videos on the screen. You guys know how that go. That said, let's go ahead and hit our first timeout before we dive into things. When we come back, we'll listen to a little bit of a snippet from some of these press conferences before we get to Roman again at 11:30. So that'll be coming up in 15 minutes, and we'll dive into all things football with him. So don't go anywhere. We're just getting started right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. Quick timeout. We'll be right back.
At Tuscaloosa Mazda, they are expanding their showroom to serve you better. Come see their new and pre-owned Mazda lineup, offering fuel efficiency, advanced technology, and plush comfort. Tuscaloosa Mazda, 3100 Skyland Boulevard East, or online at TuscaloosaMazda.com.
What's right? When buying her jewelry, what's right? There is an answer. That's what Fincher and Osmond is so good at. You just tell us what you see in her, why she's so special to you. What makes you wake up with her on your mind? What's right is at Fincher and Osmond today.
I'm Tom Osmond, your jeweler at Fincher and Osmond Jewelers.
All right. Sorry, guys. I was trying to get some of that stuff set up. What's up, everybody? Who's in here? Michael Smith, DJ Smitty. What's up, man? Mike, what's going on? Crystal, Phil, Arthur, Jake, Kenji. What's up, guys? Sorry, I was trying to get all that pulled up. Man, I hope I can catch these people. Matter of fact, let me see. I'm already knowing what's going to happen. They're going to knock as soon as we're like in the thick of talking or doing something. They're going to knock, and all of a sudden I'm going to be over here trying to control dogs because, man, you guys know how it is, man. People solicit, man. They don't stop. They'll sit there and knock several times. They don't get the message. Oh, man. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, I guess. I know they released an injury report. Jam wasn't on there, so I know there's a lot of optimism that he'll be back. But I can't help but notice. Is it just me? You guys think he looks a little gingerly right there in these clips? Oh, look at Phil speaking Spanish, man. Solamente dos días. Exactamente. Nos quedan dos días. Damn, they're getting close. So down here, Mike, we don't have Mormons, man. We've got Jehovah Witnesses, man. And I get it. They're trying to, I guess, spread a positive message, but yeah, just preferably not right now. Compax, que lo que? Me di cuenta de que me mandaste un mensaje y se me olvidó responderte. Perdón, bro. Pero ¿dónde has estado, bro? Oh, y'all too? Yeah, I feel bad for being like that, but I'm like, man, we're working, man. We're trying to do a show. Can't do that. Put a sign up. I told myself before I hopped on here I was going to try to I don't have like an official sign, so I was like, maybe I could just write on something. But yeah, you can't nice it. Yeah, exactly. Like part of me is like, man, I want to just run outside and just because they're down, they're not here yet. Part of me is kind of like I just want to run out there real quick and just tell them, hey, please do not knock on my door. I'm busy. Oh, in a meeting? Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to write something down, but I don't think I had like a marker though. I was looking for like a Sharpie. Because I was going to just kind of rig it, man. I was just going to tear out a piece of notebook paper, write it on there, and tape it on the door. It's all good. Hopefully they take their time and I can catch them before we get to Roman's interview. But we'll see. Joey, what's up, man? I don't know what's up with the quality of this video. Looks like they put some weird filter on it. I'm surprised nobody was talking about Ty's arm sleeve that he was wearing. Nobody was mentioning that. I know everybody's been saying he's got a herniated disc in his back. That's to my knowledge, that is not the case. Sign that says work and do not disturb. Are y'all saying like just like write one, or y'all saying that like I can just go buy one? I mean, I'll be honest, I don't deal with this often, but weather's nice and normal. Well, that's good to know. Jesus. Tape a piece of paper. Yeah, I should have done it during this timeout. We're about to come back now, though. Let me see where they're at. Well, chat, they're about 2 houses down, two spots down. So we're kind of around bad timing. All good, all good. Put the pastor of pain on speaker. Leave the phone on the porch. I don't even know. Oh, okay, we don't need to watch our own stream. Hold on. There we go. There we go. And welcome back into this Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store. America's arch support experts. Again, we will be joined by Roman. Harper, Chase, I'm thinking wrestling right now. I about said we're about to be joined by Roman Reigns, man. Definitely not that, but that would be dope. Maybe one day. Probably not. I have no connections to Roman, but that would be cool. That said, Roman Harper of SEC Network will be joining us in about 9 minutes or so. So be sure to be ready for that. If you guys got any questions, you guys know the drill. I know I don't get to really ask them all the time, but hey, drop them in the chat. Maybe if we have a couple minutes, we can get to it. We might actually, though. I mean, because really, we're only talking about Oklahoma, maybe a little bit on his thoughts on the overall season, and then might have a window to ask some of y'all's questions. So if you got a question for Roman in that conversation, man, make sure you drop it. That said, let's hit a snippet or so of some of these press conferences that have been coming out. I know I've got some that are already pre-cut up. Brent Venables was speaking to the media ahead of the matchup the other day, and I know he had a lot of praise for this Alabama football team, this offense. And so let's start with their side of things. Let's hear from head coach Brent Venables on his thoughts on Alabama ahead of this matchup, this playoff matchup this Friday in Norman, Oklahoma.
Excited to have our first playoff game ever here in Norman, Oklahoma this weekend against a great football team and program in Alabama. Coach DeBoer and his staff again have done a fantastic job there in 2 short years. One of the most talented rosters in the country, led by, again, Ty Simpson, just a big-time player, great leader, got a really ferocious defense. Again, where they're been very, very disruptive all year long, very, very well coached on all 3 phases. So I got a lot of familiarity. Don't want to be real redundant. I just played these guys a couple of weeks ago and had a lot of great things to say, but man, it says a lot about, their football team, the injuries that they've had here this year and what they've been able to overcome and still be in the position there, and says a lot about their roster and certainly their staff. So got a lot of respect for coach and in their program.
You mentioned Ty Simpson at the top. He's started the year really hot, has struggled a little bit in his last couple games. What stood out about him when you faced him, and how do you sort of see him now with the full body of work?
Yeah, well, he played, really, again, pretty good against us. Again, threw for over 300 yards. The first half, he had a lot of success. But he climbs the pocket. He's patient. He's got great confidence. He's got tremendous arm talent. He's a fantastic athlete, great competitor. He's got a natural leadership ability. He's a guy that doesn't flinch very easy. And so our expectation is we're going to see the best version, of Ty, that's prepared, confident, and ready to lead his team. And so we're going to have to play better. And I know some of our guys have said that. It's not coach speak. It's being honest and real with ourselves, as we had time to go back and just look at ourselves and where we need to improve and get better. That's the expectation. Our fundamentals, it's kind of where it all starts. And I don't think we played very well fundamentally. We played with great toughness and really good physicality. We weren't always the most physical team at the point of attack, but by and large, again, we played, with great effort. We just didn't always play or coach, in the cleanest kind of way and to our expectation. So what I can appreciate the most is the first day that I brought this to the attention of the team, after I had the coaches put their low lights together from the last time that we played. Man, I thought our guys received it very well. Very, again, hungry, driven, humble.
So there you go. That was Brent Venables talking about Ty Simpson, the job that he's done this football season, then going back and discussing, hey, they didn't play their best ball when they played us the last time, even though they narrowly escaped with the win. He said, hey, flat out, we put the lowlights on the tape, showed our players what we need to get better at going into this matchup, and that's how they're going to address it. So, listen, and that's how coaches think, and that's why I always talk about it. Like sometimes when people think, oh, you're nitpicking or being critical, that's what I'm telling you guys. I mean, they won the football game. They had 3 turnovers for us defensively. We're over here on this side saying, man, they played some damn good defense. But you hear how he's talking. I mean, that's what you get, right? That's what coaches do. They're always looking for things that they need to address, and that's what they're going to do going into this game. That leads me to my question for you, Chase. You're hearing him talk about, number one, he's definitely giving a lot of praise over here, but he's saying, hey, we didn't play our best ball. And I thought at least defensively they played pretty solid. Now, we did see, the numbers that they gave up. He's right. There were some moments where we were moving the football on them. We were having success. And if it wasn't for some of those explosives that they forced, the turnovers that they forced, those big moments, could have been a different ball game. Does that make you a little, I'm not going to use the word concern, but when you hear that, you're like, dang, all right, man, listen, we're going to expect a team that's going to come out there doesn't sound like they're going to be complacent by any means. You get what I'm saying? Like the way he's talking, it's like, no, they ain't even really pay attention to the good. All they cared about was the bad that went on in this game. Just kind of what were your overall thoughts hearing that from Coach Venables?
That just speaks to Brent Venable and how he approaches the game. I didn't expect anything less for him to harp on the good and what they did well against Bama. I think he wanted, like you just saw, wanted to figure out how can we eliminate those mistakes? How can we play complete football on the offensive and defensive side of the ball? And he's right, a play or two, and Bama only lost by 2. Even with the mistakes on offense and the letdown somewhat in the second half of the defense, they were right there. And OU, they have where they want Bama, and they're having back in Norman. They're used to the weather, and this is in their ballpark. So they've got to eliminate any distractions, anything that can keep Bama in, because we've seen Bama when their back is against the wall, they come out swinging and they don't stop. They look a different team, and I expect that from Bama this on Friday. But to credit Brent Venable, he understands this is going to be a different team. To beat a team 3 times in a row is impossible in my opinion. But I like Brent Venable and what he brings to the table. He's very informative, and you just saw that just now.
Yeah, no, he's a great football coach. Man, I like him. He recruited me when he was at Clemson. I got to really, see more about him playing against him when I was here in college. And no, he's a great football coach. But yeah, no, I definitely view it like, yeah, he's ready for a big matchup. That he's also self-aware enough to know, listen, as good as they played at moments, with the turnovers that they forced, realistically Alabama was having success, and he's smart enough to know that his football team, they're over-reliant on their defense. It is what it is. And it's interesting because they went from having a quarterback who at one point was a quote-unquote Heisman favorite early on in the season, gets injured, comes back, and he just hadn't been the same John Mateer that he once was. If they can find out a way to have more success offensively, to get more points on the board, to be able to move the football better, they'd be a much better football team. Because right now, they're heavy on the back end, right? Their defense is really good, but the offense is stagnant. And I'll be honest with you, even with the challenges of going on the road and playing there, I'm confident that Alabama can win this football game. I know we talk about this, the turnover piece, but if Alabama can play much, smarter football, protect the football better, I just don't know if I have the confidence in Oklahoma's offense personally to be able to score enough points to win against a team like ours, even though I know our offense hasn't been great, but I just have this feeling that our offense is going to be a lot better. You're giving Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Grubb, they've got, almost 2 weeks to prepare for this game, and they need to be better. I think there's a lot of, areas that the coaching could be better offensively, and I think that's going to be the case. And he knows that. He knows Alabama's going to come out there. Like you just said, it's hard to beat a team. We know that. Even just twice as hard. So I think it's going to be an interesting matchup, but just wanted to play that because he had a lot of praise for Ty, talked about their process of, their mindset going into it. So thought that was a good clip to play here early on the show. We got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we'll have Roman Harper joining us on the phone lines. We'll talk to him about this matchup, get his thoughts on Alabama overall throughout the regular season / SEC championship game and more. We'll keep on rolling after that. We'll get you guys on here. 205-342-9904 is the number as well. And plus, you guys mentioned, I forgot to earlier on, we did make a hire. We hired somebody from enemy territory. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I'll give my thoughts on it right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
Hey, nice job, Pete. I like those clean lines. Fellas, do we have anyone that can get to Greenport today?
At Corey's Landscaping, the staffing plan is in the weeds.
Anthony, we need that leaf blower over here. 3 more new customer requests just came in. Who wants to work some overtime?
He needs to dig up quality landscapers and fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want to boost in?
All right. Sorry, guys. I know we're a little all over the place, man. I'm trying to squeeze stuff in before we get guests on. I got those folks. I was able to run outside real quick and get them not to come over here. So we're good on that. We're past that, which is good. So we can fully lock in on this conversation with Roman. Tears throwing the ball with no wrapper bandage. Yeah, no, I think he's getting healthier. And he had some night. Listen, he's an interesting guy because I don't know if you guys remember, but he had a throw or two against us. I know there's one on like 3rd down where he had a little bit of pressure on him. And I mean, he just kind of almost looked like a sidearm. Maybe I'm just making this up in my head, but I'm almost positive it kind of had something like the way he just kind of flicked it. And I mean, the ball, he squeezed it right there in this small window. Because I think we had like some zone defense going. There's a guy kind of underneath. I mean, he had a couple throws in that game. I was like, damn. I mean, if he could throw like that or play like that consistently, I mean, he would be so much better. But the problem is like their offense, man. I mean, all it is a bunch of RPO. It's a lot of screen game to Satega, whatever that guy's name is. No disrespect. I'm not saying like that, but I can't remember the pronunciation. But I mean, that's really all you're getting. You get RPO, running John Mateer, dish it out to the receiver. Starts with an S. I mean, it's not very complex. They're really just looking for a bunch of quick game. I mean, they really just quick pass game, quick passing game, screen game, RPO, run Mateer. That's Oklahoma's offense. And that's why I think he's taking it. Brent Venables isn't dumb. He knows without the defensive performance that they had, able to, force those turnovers, the offense that they have is not capable to produce enough to win against, good football teams. It's just not. So that's why personally I feel pretty solid about this game right now. I'm not saying it's going to be some cakewalk, but I don't know. I just think a healthier Alabama team, a team that's had, almost 2 weeks to prepare, to really put together their best game plan yet, I think should definitely make a difference. And I'll talk about this later on, but if you watch it, I mean, I'm telling you, offensively, we can do so much more to help our guys out. I know a lot is going on the backs and the quarterback and why, stuff. A lot of that is true. There's so many things that we can do offensively to just help our guys out. And I'm confident that these coaches have had 2 weeks now. That should be able to, be seen in this game. Mateer streaky, can't run the ball, 64% completion guy at best, but some of the throws, yeah, it's just what I'm saying. Like he'll make some throws every now and then that are just like, damn. Yeah, no worries, Chase. He'll you can try again. He should pick up here in a second. Wait, how do you pronounce it? Sategna? Guys, you guys know, man, I can't pronounce names, man. I just hope we don't see 5 seconds on the play clock before we hike the ball. I mean, we'll probably see a little bit more tempo this game, maybe. I don't know. Nah, I'm not doing it out there. Nah. No, I mean, I do some radio stuff, but nothing like big setup thing. Nah. Satania. Yeah. I think, okay, thank you. I was about to say, I didn't remember the pronunciation. He's a good player, though. He's definitely a good player. I think the offense should go faster. Don't let Venables get a read on what they're in. Yeah, I definitely think it's something you try. I mean, the biggest thing is, look, if you go back and watch how that game transpired, man, the way they blitzed, I mean, was a huge factor. And no different. I mean, Georgia had a very similar game plan. I told you Georgia was going to run something similar. That's literally what they did. That's the new thing to really disrupt this Alabama offense. Is to bring heavy pressure, which we said that earlier in the year. Like, if teams want to stop this offense, man, you got to bring pressure. You got to force the issue. And that's what they've started to do a lot more of. Like, I saw a stat earlier. It was like, I forgot. I think like Brent Venables in that last game, they blitzed like 2/3 of the time. Something like that. But you know where I think you also could kind of counter some of that and help kind of neutralize it, which no one does. Or not no one does, but we're not doing, or we're not seeing this be done. It's just scramble, man. Like, think about it. Like, when teams bring pressure, normally, man, they're in some type of man concept behind. It can be a zone concept, and you can have underneath guys. I'm not saying it's always going to be open, but there's definitely going to be typically some opportunities to scramble. And I feel like we never scramble. I should say Ty. I feel like Ty never just takes off. And I think, man, if he would just do that, I promise you, he would neutralize some of that pressure that he sees. 100%. That's what Texas and Ole Miss did. What, in terms of scrambling, or are you talking about the pressure piece we're talking about? If he Chase, if he's not answering, we can just wait and just try back in like why is this earbuds not working? Try back in maybe like 5 minutes or something. Or I can shoot him a text. Hold on, let me make sure. Well, no, that's the right number. Oh, bet. All right, he's on there. All right, good deal. All right. I don't know what's going on with this earbud, but it's all good. We'll keep it rolling. Got Roman ready? All right, bet.
Friends over at Brian Harding Construction. Located in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Brian Harding Construction is woman-owned and strong as steel.
Funny thing is, you said the way to beat us last year was simply bring pressure. Yeah, I mean, that's just how these offenses that we've had recently have just always. I mean, it's pretty evident, man. Like, we just don't respond to pressure well. We didn't last year, and we don't do it this year. So, I mean, he made it seem like he welcomes pressure because of yeah, and I've said that too. Like, you can counter pressures sometimes if you do it right, but we haven't done that. And welcome back into this Wednesday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Support Experts. We're talking Alabama-Oklahoma playoff matchup this Friday, 7 p.m. Central Time kick. And now we'll continue the conversation with our good friend here on the Miller's Edge, Roman Harper, Alabama great, former Panther and Saint as well, now with SEC Network. Roman, man, welcome in, brother.
Christian, man, thanks for always having me, man. I'm glad I could this time worked out. So I'm headed to go play some golf. I missed your call a little second ago, but I left something inside and I was dropping my daughter off. So
no,
just
brother,
on the go, man. But
don't you
football's
apologize.
on the mind. I'm happy.
Yeah, man, listen, don't you apologize. I feel bad. I'm messing up your tee time, so I'm not going to hold you long, man. I need you to go out there and hit it straight and do your thing. Where are you playing at? Are you back in Charlotte?
Yeah, I'm here in Charlotte, man. I'm playing at Carmel Country Club with a friend of mine. He's a member over there, and so he lets me out there every now and then. And I haven't played in over a month, so low expectations, but I do have expectations, which is probably dangerous.
Well, I'm sure you're better than me. I probably go through about a pack, not just like the small 3-ball pack. I'm talking about the whole case of balls when I'm typically out there. So, yeah, you're probably.
I am definitely better than you. I am definitely better than you, and I don't plan on doing that today. But but the thing is, though, Christian, let me tell you about golf balls. I buy them to lose them, dog. I don't. I'm not beholden. I ain't married to none of them things. I play them to lose them, dog. That's got to be the mindset. You can't be worried about that.
Hey, trust me, I've gotten accustomed to that over time, man. I just learned golf is an expensive habit for me, more so because of the golf balls that I lose. So we can all agree on that. Well, I don't want to keep you long, Roman. I wanted to get you on here because we hadn't talked in a minute. And I wanted to get your thoughts, of course, on this matchup this Friday. We know how big it is, first round playoff matchup. But also, I hadn't talked to you in a minute, so I hadn't really gotten your take on just how the season went. You know, I know we talked early on in the year. Especially before and then when you're heading to SEC Media Day. And now we've had a whole body of work in place. We know Alabama went 10-2 in the regular season, earned a trip to the college football playoffs, but also the SEC championship game where, you know, to put it, you know, quite frank, we got our ass whooped. But, hey, we at least made it, so we're trending in the right direction. We've dealt with injuries. Our offense went from looking like that S-Class, you know, 2025 Mercedes to now about that 2005 Mercedes that people try to drive around to flex, but it's got all types of check engine lights on and needs a whole bunch of oil treatment, everything under the hood. What have you just kind of gathered from this Alabama football team? What are your overall thoughts from the 2025 season so far, Roman?
Now, Christian, you gave me a lot right there, but I'm going to dissect it for you. Number one, the SEC championship game. You can look at that as two ways. Yes, they got their butts kicked, but I'd also say they're the same team that was down 14 with the ball and momentum on their hands with 7.5 minutes to go, right?
Yeah.
About to try and put yourself in position to maybe go score and make this into and put some real pressure on Georgia for the first time. So, like, that part was part of the game as well. You can't always just determine just a final score. And a lot of people say, oh, well, they got destroyed, this, that, and that. That's fine. But I do know what that game was and what at certain points when all of a sudden Alabama had a little bit of energy and momentum, it felt a little different. But that was too late. In championship caliber games, you got to come in with the right energy early, and Georgia had that. So you give Georgia all the credit in the world for winning the game in which state they did. All right? You're talking about a 2005 S-Class. Or number one, I still have a 2005 SL, okay? And that was my rookie car. And it is still clean, baby. When I bring that thing out, it's a lot of people on the road that wish they had that, okay? And the same thing I tell my kids. Yeah, the Christian, hey, I said this was top of the line luxury in 2005, baby. This was top of the line. I know it doesn't have Bluetooth and all your other gadgets that you're used to having, the Wi-Fi, but that thing was top of the line. Heated seats, leather seats, all kinds of bells and whistles in that 2005. So it's not a bad car. It can still get you to the finish line because my Mercedes can still go 120 if I need it to. And so it does need to be cleaned up. And the thing that I think you need to get cleaned up the most as far as when you're going against the Oklahoma team is the pressure packages that Oklahoma threw at you when you went to empty personnel or when you were in these passing downs. They were blitzing Kip Lewis, number 10. He had 2.5 sacks, I guess, versus Alabama. A true game record. You got to understand body type and what Oklahoma and Britton Venables are asking each body type and each individual to perform. They're going to window dress. They're going to show you a lot of different looks and formations defensively. But when you motion as much as you do, sometimes not only is it an indicator for Ty Simpson on what they're running, but it's also an indicator for the defense on when I need to get ready to go and blitz. So it's a two-way street on that, Christian. You know that very vividly. And so you got to understand the things that you're going to be doing. I would also suggest what I learned from versus Georgia. I would not always be on the defense if I'm Alabama's offense. I would go more 2-minute, no huddle. I want to be on the attack every third or fourth series. Let's go out there and try and make them, because you can't be as fluid defensively when you go no huddle. We all knows that. We're not saying it dumbs it down, but they do simplify because you just want to get guys lined up and get ready to play. So that's another way to kind of counteract teams. If teams are starting to throw a lot at you, you need to go no huddle and all of a sudden make them defend themselves. That's what I would say. And also the protections. If you keep Ty Simpson clean, Alabama overall offensively versus Oklahoma, they got a lot of things that they like in that game. They need to do more of that because guys came open late when you actually had the quarterback. When the quarterback, if he would have had time and if he would have got the protection the correct way, you would have had time to deliver to open receivers versus this Oklahoma secondary. It's going to be a great game plan. And overall, how does Oklahoma generate more offense? Because to me, that's the real key is can Oklahoma generate some explosive plays themselves and get themselves going offensively, because that's been the most lackluster part of any phase of any offense in this matchup.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we were just mentioning that before you hopped on about Oklahoma's offense. Just personally for me, they just don't have that spark, and it's kind of holding them back from a lot of things. And until they figure that piece out, they've got an uphill climb no matter how good that defense is. But you're exactly right in terms of the pressure. I mean, I thought Georgia did the same thing. They continuously brought pressure. We didn't handle it well. And it leads to turnovers, bad decisions, and we just ultimately don't move the football nearly as well as we did earlier on.
And Christian, I don't want to cut you off, but
no, go ahead.
I would also say Georgia played better than Oklahoma did up front. I remembered Oklahoma beating Alabama worse than they did up front. It'd be interesting if our Mason Thomas comes back healthy. How much added juice does he give Oklahoma's edge pressure? Because all the pressure versus Oklahoma came up the middle with Kip Lewis and everybody blitzing from second level guys, whether it's the nickel, the outside corner, which Ty Simpson has to be able to read that into the boundary. Look at body language. I was around Drew Brees for 10 years of my career. So I got to see an elite quarterback get protections right all the time because of body language. He knew what guys were doing. He looked all the way out to the corner, and the corner looked like they were leaning. They weren't playing a normal corner position level-wise or where their stance is at. Packer the whole thing all the way out to him. He's in the count now. That is how you do it. And understand if you do get it wrong, where are the weaknesses at? But I won't allow certain things. I can't lose the same way. That's going to go on coaching and execution when you play a team the second time. And I give Georgia credit because Georgia played more man-to-man coverage versus Alabama in the second matchup than they did the first matchup. Kirby Smart also said, you know what? If we're going to lose, we're going to lose on our terms. And we will not let Ty Simpson be comfortable. We're going to blitz him, and we are going to rush him. We are going to throw more and more bodies at this man because Alabama's lack of run game versus Georgia, he knew they couldn't run the ball. And he understands that is the quarterback's best friend and can alleviate pressure. So I want to turn the pressure up, and if they can't turn around and hand the ball off to alleviate pressure, then we got him. And he understood that, especially when they got the early lead from the punt block. Kirby just turned it up more, and I applauded him after that. Me and him talked about the game plan afterwards. And we also, and I mentioned this on my show, SEC Nation, multiple times, how Georgia's secondary play, how they have improved in the secondary, playing more man-to-man coverage and challenging guys early and often in route. And that is what has allowed Georgia's pass rush to get better and their whole defense as a whole to be better. And he alluded to that as well.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And that's what stood out to me in that Georgia matchup in the SEC championship game was that, like you just said, they had all of our routes were, first of all, they're playing top down, and then they had everything strapped up. They played a lot of man coverage. We couldn't get much separation, and it was allowing those guys up front to get home. They're running different stunts and bringing different looks. And I thought it was a defensive masterclass by those guys. But let me ask you this, Roman. You just talked about all those challenges that we've seen and how it's been successful. And we know that this offense now, 4 or 5 games in a row now, I'm not going to count Eastern Illinois. this offense, man, has been out of whack. Maybe not your 2005 S class that's beautiful, still shined up and still running strong, but maybe like some of these other ones, man, where that light is blinking and that thing is struggling to keep going. How do you see Alabama having, close to 2 weeks to prepare for this matchup? Do you think, and I know you mentioned it, the coaching, they can do some things, I agree 100%, to kind of help out and really, get that pencil sharpened up. How confident are you that we can see a resurgence in this Alabama offense? Because like you said, we're going to need it when we travel to Oklahoma, and not just in the passing game, but also in the running game, knowing how important that is going on the road.
Yeah, and they ran for 100 yards in the first matchup versus Oklahoma, which for Alabama, that is a great game running the football, how this team has been not able to run the football all year long. And also that 2005, it's got original first-year Forgiato rims too. They don't even make those anymore. 3-piece back in the day. That was like new money. It's spent a little differently back then.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, Christian, so, I would say the biggest thing with Alabama is health. They have to get healthier. Connor Brailsford looked healthier versus Oklahoma than he did versus Georgia. That was a deciding factor in that Georgia game. Georgia put a big body over him, and he's already a smaller center. He's a good center, but he's smaller. And so when he's not healthy and can't push off that ankle and be able to anchor down when you get bull rushed and you get thrown around more, that's not good. He's also better on the move as a center, and he can't move with a messed up ankle. So health for this team of Alabama. Getting the tight end Cuevas back, I think he could be one of the most important guys, if not the most important guy, because of how tough he is. He's a great option in the pass game. And he was actually the lead receiver for Alabama in the first matchup versus Oklahoma, making guys miss, getting crucial third down conversions when maybe Ty Simpson would get, sprinted out of the pocket. He'd get pressure out of the pocket. Cuevas working his way back and getting first downs and crucial catches that way. So being that outlet and your quarterback's best friend, I thought the tight end position also played a big factor in the Georgia game versus with Alabama as well. The last time we seen this team, not making excuses, but just stating facts here. Like all of these things played into what Alabama has looked like. Health is a big concern. No team is as deep as they used to. And when Cuevas is not there, you're going to now true freshmen. It's just a big drop off in experience, strength levels. When you're going against a 24-year-old, 23, 22-year-old, and shoot, COVID kids now, so 27. These kids are old now. So, versus an 18-year-old, that is different. And so, like, these things really start to stand out when I'm watching these games, and Alabama has to get healthier. Having Jam Miller back, like all of these pieces help because they're better at pass protection. Alabama went to using just a tight end versus Georgia just to be able to help in pass protection because we're telling everybody in the stadium we're not running the ball.
Yep.
We are throwing the ball. We just need this guy, this body type to be able to slow down the pass rush so our quarterback may have a chance to complete a pass.
Yeah, absolutely. We're joined by Roman Harper. Hey, Roman, I got one last question. I promise I'm going to let you hit the links and go knock them out of the park.
No, bro, you're good, man. I'm not even there yet. You're fine. I'm about to be there a little bit.
All right, good deal. Well, because I wanted to ask you about the defense because we hadn't even talked much about the defense, and that's a good thing, right? Because that means they're doing a damn good job. And I want to get your thoughts because I know when we talked last time, we talked about some of those, concerns sometimes giving up some of those explosives. I guess throughout the course of the year, it kind of shifted a little bit. Saw a little bit more explosives on the ground, but that was really the first half of the year. I would argue the last half. I mean, they've been one of the better teams at stopping the run, and statistically across the board, they've been a really sound unit. Just what are your overall thoughts, Roman, on how this Alabama defense has performed in this 2025 season?
Number one, I thought they've been the reason why Alabama's been in all these games.
Mm-hmm.
As Alabama's offense has struggled the last 4 to 5 weeks, Alabama's defense has been the reason why they've been in games. I would also say this, far from perfect. And so how much more juice can you squeeze out of the orange? I think it's a lot out of this defense. You look at versus Georgia, you got to hold these teams to field goals. Keon Staff has to be lower, and he can't go in front of that Dylan Bell touchdown and make it 14. You got to stay on the top side shoulder, my boy, and keep running with him and staying low. You act like these quarterbacks are throwing you the ball. Wrong. You got to stay attached to the receiver in the red zone. You got to find a way, Christian, as you've been in enough defensive meetings to impact the game on the plays that you get to impact the game. You don't get to control if the offense throws an interception. That's not, you can't control that. What you can control is go lining up and forcing the team and holding the field goals. Bray Hubbard, who, when we all know in goal line safety right there on the edge on second down, and I'm calling out big name guys because they can handle it. I'm counting on these guys. They're the older guys, the senior guys. You can't mess up. When you got a freshman going in the wrong gap and chasing quarterbacks, you expect that. I got to have the big boys be perfect in the playoffs. That's how important it is because you don't know what game or what play it will cost you. All of a sudden, they get play action away from you. Quarterback's back turns away from you. You have nothing to do with anything going over there. Your only job is to get the first one to the flat, back to you, first action back, or if tie down is up the field, then you have to get him. But no, you already had the safety with you. So that means Keon Sabb has first safety up. You got first one to the flat. Your eyes are looking on the wrong place, and all of a sudden you get a guy to the flat. Whether the quarterback runs in it or not, I know if he throws it in, it's your fault. If he runs it in, that's somebody else's fault. So it's Bray Hubbard's fault. He's got to be better. He's too good to give that up. And so these are the margins that I'm talking about. We give up 14, but really we should have been 6.
That's a
and
fair point.
It's just that much closer. And so now you don't lose by 21, you lose by 13.
Yeah.
It's every single bit. And the game feels different. More pressure each time you drive back. It's all of these little things, intricate details that are winning and losing football games, especially for championship quality games. That was an SEC championship game. You don't get to go play your B game and win. That's not how football works on any level as far as championship caliber football is what we're talking about, which is the playoffs. I played in a lot of playoff games. The best thing about playoff football, Christian, and I know I got to go here, is that it's not about the best team that wins. It's the team that plays the best that day. And so I've been in playoff games and I've won them, and I'm like, how the hell did we win that game? And I've been in games that we lost them, and I'm like, how the hell did we lose that game? And so that is playoff football, and that's what you get. And so to me, that's what I love about it the most, and we get it in college football. And that's also the best thing, because if you just get hot and go on a run, you're fine.
That's true.
A lot of these teams, because all the teams in the playoffs right now, they have holes in their game somewhere, and matchups will matter, and what team gets hot and fills those gaps will be the ones that get hot, and all of a sudden you make a run. It's why Ryan Day still's got his job. They were ready to get rid of Ryan Day last year.
True. That's
but
true.
They won a championship, and so he's there.
Yeah, and then I say it all the time, man. All the little nitpicks and things people, bring up, man, winning cures everything. And this team goes on and wins it all. They'll forget about Florida State. They'll forget about the Oklahoma game earlier on, and everybody will be celebrating. Great way to end that, man. Well, Roman, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us, man. I know you got a busy day out there on the course, man. Hit them straight. Enjoy it, because I'm sure you've got a busy weekend with all the football that's going to be being played. So enjoy your time, and I appreciate you jumping on here, man. It's always a pleasure, brother.
Oh, man, I appreciate it, bro. Thanks just for even having me on as always, dog. We always have a good time, and I appreciate you letting me ramble.
No, man.
This is just like the warm-up for me. This is practicing before I get to the game. This is easy.
Yeah, you don't need – you're the best of the business, brother. Come on, man. You say you need practice?
No, man, never that.
Nah, for real. No, I appreciate you, brother. Seriously, man. Have a great rest of your week, man, and we'll talk soon, bro.
All right, bye.
Yes, sir. We'll see you, brother. Good deal. All right, we got to hit this top of the hour break, man. Big thanks to Roman joining us, as he likes to do. Like he said, to warm up, get ready for the big things that he has this weekend. Roman does a great job, SEC Nation Network, all that stuff. His work with Cole Kulick, man. Best in the business, man, when it comes to breaking things down, the entertainment factor, man. Love when we get him here on the show, man. Great dude, man. Seriously. Really authentic guy. I always appreciate him. We got to hit the top of the hour break. When we come back, we'll respond. So I want to get y'all's thoughts on everything Roman had to say. Plus, we'll continue listening to some of these clips from these press conferences, hearing from both coaches, players. There's been a lot of media that we got to catch up on. We'll do that hour number 2. Plus, we'll take some calls. 205-342-9904 is the number to the program. Quick timeout. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. God, man, these headphones are messing me up. I'm gonna swap back real quick, guys. Can't really hear well. Swap back to the old faithful. What'd y'all think about Roman's thoughts on that matchup? And even going back to the SEC championship game, I thought that was a lot of good stuff. All right, there we go. Okay, yep, there it goes. UJ started this drive in plus territory. Yeah, but Roman's point, man, he's kind of talking about the just the touchdowns we gave up, right? Nobody's going to fall to defense for starting in or having, to be put in a bad position where those teams are starting in our territory. You know what I mean? But to Roman's point, he's saying like, that's why I pulled this up while he was talking about the Brady one after this, but like, wait, what was it down in distance? This is third down. I mean, you get this stop right here. This is 3 points instead of 7, right? And so as a defense, we talk about this stuff all the time in the meeting rooms. I mean, like these are like deciding factors of football games. Like he said, in the championship games, the playoff, like that's when this stuff. Sorry, I thought I was in the meeting room again. That's when this stuff really matters. And so that's why he was harping on it, because I mean, again, this third and 5 here, you get the third and goal, you get this stop. It's a field goal. And so what he was saying was, boom, what happens here is you got Keon Sabb who drives on this route. You don't ever, that's way too risky. You don't undercut that. There's no need to. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? There's no indicator for him to give him that green light to like jump cut that route like that. You see what I'm saying? Like Coach Saban, he's always talk about it. Like if you're gonna make that decision, like, you better be right. Because if you're wrong, I mean, you can get pulled for that. And again, I'm not jumping on them, just like Roman was saying. It's not like to pick on them. I mean, these guys they're grown, they can handle it. But he's right. I mean, I didn't even really talk too much about that, but that is a costly mistake. I mean, because if you just play through this guy's, you just play the ball here. You see what I'm saying? You just play the ball there, punch a ball out, force a pass deflection. That's 3 points instead of 7. I mean, that's a big deal. Let's see if we can find the Bray one he's talking about. I know exactly what he's talking about. It's bad eye discipline on the one with Bray. Wait, what happened? That's when they ran it in. Let's see what happened here. This either on that back or Sabb's got to get downhill faster on this one, but that's not the one I was looking for. When did that one happen with Bray? Where they hit the fullback in the flat. Is that earlier in the game? Do y'all remember? This one right here. That's what he's talking about. It's just bad eye discipline on Bray's part. But what was it down in distance here? Third and I'm not gonna lie, damn, I didn't even really pay attention to this as much. That's another third and goal. Another third down. Gotta have that, man. Now, one could argue even if Bray stuck on his guy, I mean, he would have just ran in, but still, you just gotta have better execution in those spots. That was really the biggest nitpick for me. I guess I just didn't really analyze it like that. Like, damn, those are both third and goal opportunities. But just, the difference of the last few weeks, we have been much better in red zone goal line situations. holding like Oklahoma. When we played Oklahoma, I mean LSU, right? I mean we normally hold teams to field goals all the time, but in the SEC championship, like he said, man, I mean it's just different. It's a little bit different of a ball game, man. You're gonna get everybody's best shot. You don't have that same room for error. So got to clean that part up. But other than that, man, defense has been pretty sound. The brave play is why Bill Belichick always said, "Do your job." Yeah. Yeah. My high school coach used to always he used to call it like the hero asshole theory. He's like when Keon jumped that Dylan Bell touchdown. He's like, if you decided to improvise like that, if you make the play, you're a hero. If you don't make the play and you give some up, you're an asshole. My coach in high school, y'all think Coach Saban was like hard nosed, man? I think my high school coach probably was like on that same
Hours
level.
after midnight.
Like when I tell you this dude's diet consisted of nothing but like Marlboros and Diet Coke. I don't even think you're supposed to smoke. This dude would literally like, and the meeting room just reeked of cigarettes. He wasn't smoking in there, but he would just drive across the street and just go rip cigarettes like all day, then just show back up. And I mean, that dude. Funny enough, he actually recruited my dad when my dad, he's old. He recruited my dad back in the day. And welcome back into this Wednesday edition of Miller's Edge. Todd 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store. America's arch sport expert just got done chopping it up with Roman Harper of SEC Network, former Alabama great, NFL legend. You guys already know who the man is, but big thanks for him to join us here on the show on the way to the golf course, man. He's about to go let him rip over on the golf course, but he had some time to hop on here, talk some ball, and glad we got to do so. Talk a little bit about that SEC championship matchup, what Alabama needs to do moving forward for this playoff game, and what some stuff we probably could expect. So let's dive into it, and I'd love to get y'all's thoughts on everything we just talked about. 205-342-9904 is the number. We're open on the phone lines if you guys want to do that, or just drop it in the chat, man. You guys are always welcome to do that, or an app message. Don't forget about that Tide 100.9 app. You can download that completely free and leave an app message as well. Matter of fact, let me refresh the feed. Nope, we don't have one just yet, but if you guys want to drop it there, I got it loaded up for that as well. That being said, Chase, let's talk a little bit about what we just heard from Roman, man. Really good stuff. We just talked about it during the break. You know, one of his nitpicks for the defense, especially coming out of that SEC championship game, you got to hold teams to field goals, which the positive is Alabama's defense has done a really good job of that this season. I don't have the stat in front of me. You guys know me. I'm not a statistician or whatever the word is, and I don't have that right here. But I can just tell you off the eye test, Alabama has done a nice job of holding teams to field goals, whether it's LSU, whether it's going back to Oklahoma the first time. The only touchdown they scored, right, was when they got the ball in great field position on our side of the field because of a fumble on the punt. Ryan Williams, he fumbled the football, and it led to John Mateer. He broke some tackles in that game, or on that play, I should say, and scored. Outside of that, I mean, Alabama's been solid in red zone defense. SEC championship game, we just went back and watched it here on the stream, right? The one that Roman was talking about, undercut by Keon Sabb, that's 3rd and goal. You get a stop right there, that's 3 points instead of 7. The Bray Hubbard one, you know, bad eye discipline. The guy sneaks out to his flat. That's his responsibility. He's not there for it. Touchdown. That was also 3rd down. So the difference between 7 and 3 points, man, can definitely be huge. Definitely could be a factor in this game. But we were talking about Alabama's offense. And a lot of people have been mentioning the whole tempo aspect. We've talked about it on the show, and Roman also agrees. That is something that could be big in this football game, or really in general for Alabama's offense moving forward. Let me ask you this, Chase. I mean, when you think about it, wouldn't you agree? Alabama, at least earlier on in the season, I would say we had one of the better 2-minute, hurry-up type offenses, right? Especially before the half. Just think about it. I mean, how many times were we put in positions where we get aggressive, we're calling timeouts, trying to, force a stop defensively to get the ball back, and then we just go, march right down the football field and put points on the board. Kind of interesting when you think about it, how successful it seemed that we were in those situations versus just kind of periodically throughout the game, just trying to just run our regular offense. So I definitely think, something they'll consider doing in this game. I feel like we hadn't seen a whole bunch of it, even though we've had struggles for quite some time now, but maybe we do finally see it in this matchup. I think listen, I mean, Roman and everybody that's mentioned it, it's definitely true. And I'll tell you from a defensive perspective, tempo does disrupt things for a defense. The communication changes, right? Like it's a little bit, and it's different when you're going into a game planning that way. Like anytime we played a tempo team, we always, our strategy that game defensive was always very, I wouldn't say simplified. Like he said, you wouldn't say like dumbed down, but you have to make it concise, right? Matter of fact, and I reposted a video yesterday because people are like posting these videos of like these coaching clinics and stuff like that from like, Coach Saban, Kirby Smart, Dan Lanning, and I've been reposting them because it's literally all the stuff that we used to do and talk about. So I think it's cool that you guys can hear all this. But speaking of that, I reposted one on our X account at the Miller's Edge. There's Dan Lanning talking about why they've kind of gone to these one-word calls, and that's what we used to do, right? I mean, you take a call, literally the full call might be base strong 3 auto check dot mod, but we just call it BASS. Like that's an example of one that we used to have. And so that's something the defense can do to try to help, counter some of that tempo. Just one-word calls, you can get it in quick, and everybody already knows what they're doing. When they hear, like when I heard BASS, I already knew, but BASS equals base strong 3 auto check dot mod. And so that dictates the front, the coverage, alignments, all that kind of stuff. So understand, like, it's not like, okay, all of a sudden you go tempo and defenses like out of sorts running around like they don't know what's going on. It makes it even more critical that they have stuff like that involved. That way they can be prepared for it. And I'm sure they probably will anticipate maybe some of it just in case. But I think it could definitely be helpful. We'll have to see, though. Roman also mentioned something that I think might be one of the biggest keys in this game, Chase, and we hadn't talked too much about our keys, but we can start doing that now. And we talked about this, right? The pressure that Alabama has seen. And I've been talking about this probably like Tia mentioned, even last year. I mean, it's in a lot of offenses struggle when they face pressure, but you got some that are able to kind of counter that, just like Tia also mentioned. Like, yes, if you get too aggressive on defense, just like anything else, I mean, high risk, high reward, right? I mean, if you get too aggressive and you're not getting home, that leaves your secondary vulnerable, and it can lead to explosives. But I would argue we haven't countered pressure well at all, and that's why I said even earlier on this year, if teams want to slow down this offense, they got to pressure Ty Simpson. And that's what we've seen. Oklahoma, we saw it out of LSU, saw it out of Georgia, and that's another big reason this offense has kind of hit this point where they're at. We've got to find a way to counter that pressure, and we have not found an answer for that yet, just like Roman was talking about. We didn't have a great answer for it in any of those games. In the SEC Championship also definitely wanted an answer. And you got to figure something out. And that's why watching the SEC Championship game, I was surprised we didn't try to work the perimeter a little bit more, even like simple stuff like screens. I know it feels repetitive and redundant, but when teams are being aggressive like that, man, like you've got to find ways to keep them true and honest. I just don't think we've done a good job like that. That's why sometimes when people are too critical on a quarterback or a running back, I don't care if it's this year, last year, whatever, I always look at the whole picture because there's always things that you can also do to help these guys out. And I personally just don't feel like we've done the best job at that. Hopefully we can be better prepared. If we go back and turn on this Oklahoma tape, man, I mean, I'll show you. I mean, what they did was, they forced a lot of those issues. They forced a lot of those turnovers. Now, there was times that we did move the ball in that game, but, those big moments in the game came from when they brought pressure. They had guys dropping underneath, guys cutting defenders, and they do just a really sound job of getting the looks that they want up front. They take care of things on the back end, and they always are having underneath defenders that are cutting and taking away those shallow, kind of check down type things, which forces a quarterback to hold the ball longer, which allows their pressure to hit home. Oklahoma it is what it is, man. They've got a damn good defensive minded coach, and they execute extremely well. They fly around, and I mean, like he mentioned with that Kip Lewis guy, I mean, the way they were using that guy it's impressive. And even just looking at some of their personnel, I want to say they have a guy that interchanges that's almost like could be linebacker / safety hybrid, but I want to say he's like 6'4" and some change maybe. He's a bigger player, but they work him out. He plays in the apex. And, I mean, when you have, like, flexibility like that and personnel that you can, do different stuff with, which is what they do, I mean, it gives them a lot of options. So, to me, Chase, when I look at this matchup, man, these are the main keys that I think will be important. First and foremost, what I just talked about, finding a way to neutralize that pressure. You've got to find a way to neutralize that pressure in this game because that's what caused so many issues when we played them last, and not just them, but all the other teams we just mentioned. 2, we just talked about it as well, right? Being able to come up with, in the red zone, I think that's huge. Those critical moments, like field position, is big. If you like, not even just the Georgia game, but really a number of games that we've had this year, field position has been an issue for us. We have not done great in the field position battle, and that's got to change. But I'll be honest, defensively, man, we talked about it last time we played them. I mean, literally, their offense consists of quick passing game, RPO. John Mateer is going to, pull it. He's going to run it. And then you'll see Sartega, if I'm saying that right, that receiver heavily involved. Screen game, getting him the football. He's probably one of their better playmakers on that offense. And I thought we did a pretty solid job. I don't think they have that spark offensively. Like, to me, Chase, I feel like this is probably going to be a low-scoring type game, right? I mean, I'm thinking probably and I don't think either team probably scores over 24 points. And really, I would argue if we do a better job with the field position aspect of things, I would argue that their offense isn't going to even. I mean, listen, they scored, was it 23 points last time? Well, let's just look at it. They scored 10 in the first quarter, 7 in the second, and 3 and 3. And I want to say, again, I don't even remember exactly the flow of the game, but I mean, a number of those points, if not majority of those points, 7 came from an interception. It was a pick 6. So you take that away, they really only scored offensively 16 points. And then let's take away another 7 because that one, again, they scored. I'll give them their credit, but they got the ball like on the 30-something, on our 30-something yard line, whatever it was, from that fumble. So then you're left with 9 points, or so 3 field goals. I mean, defensively, I mean, I think you feel good going into this game. It's just offensively, man. You got to find a way to counter the pressure. You got to find a way to get some type of running game going again like you did in the first game. And I'll be honest, like Roman also said, those explosive plays, like where have our explosive plays gone? Chase, I don't think I've seen an explosive play on our end in I mean, weeks, man. Like weeks. And there's been some opportunities, but we haven't capitalized. Got to find a way to get some in there. If not, at the end of the day, we're just going to see the same old thing that we've been seeing. You'll see teams that don't respect our running game. They're sitting back. They're playing top down. They're going to give you the underneath routes. Just anticipate making good tackles like Georgia did, and you're not going to be able to move the football great. Then you're going to be limited on what you can do trying to get explosive plays down the field, and you're not running the ball anyway. So then you're just stuck one-dimensional, and that one dimension is not really working well. So that's got to be addressed. But the positive is, and we'll end this segment on this, like Roman said, man, it's the playoffs. It's a new season. Everybody's had some time to kind of get their legs underneath themselves. Everybody's had time to get a little bit more healthy, go to the drawing board. And that to me, I think should honestly work really strongly in our favor, Chase. I mean, I feel like our coach have been the best offensively in the past few games, but I'm confident that having this amount of time, I mean, listen, I would be shocked if we come out Friday and offensively, and I'm not talking about just like the execution, I'm talking about even from like a coaching standpoint, play calling standpoint. If we don't look much more compared than we've looked, much more improved than we had looked over the past few weeks, I'm just going to be honest with you, I'm going to be highly disappointed. Personally, that's just my opinion. All right, we got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we'll keep on rolling. We'll get to some of these press conferences and more. Phone lines open 205-342-9904 if you guys want to jump on there. And we'll keep on rolling right here on this Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tile 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
At Tuscaloosa.
Oh, and I forgot the other big one, defensively, man. Turnovers. We got to capitalize on those opportunities. Hell, even if you man, listen, if we catch one of those picks, I think we had like 2 picks or 2 opportunities that we could have had for interceptions. You make one of those plays, man, it could be a different ball game. And we need to talk about the coaching hire, so don't let me forget about that. Mateer's legs, a couple of throws. Field position turnovers and us snapping the ball in the first 15 seconds are the keys to this game. Yeah, I mean, if you're snapping it quick though, you just gotta make sure. I mean, you got a good plan. I'm not saying Temple and no huddle but we come out of timeouts and official reviews haven't either called timeouts. Yeah, no, I'm not. You don't have to be full no huddle, but I think any form of tempo probably could definitely be a little bit of a, I wouldn't call it like a shock factor, but just a little bit of an adjustment for them. So how about it, dude? I needed to look at something real quick. I'll get in a second. If you guys haven't, man, make sure you guys hit that like button real quick. It always helps us out. I appreciate it, man. I ain't even forgot about it. We're at 30. We got like 54 in here. Let's see if we can get up to 40 real quick. If you guys haven't, man, just swing over there and hit it real quick if you don't mind. Or bounce out like ever. They always got your few, man. You bring them the likes, they got to roll. We got the folks that have likes allergies. That brave play is why Belichick says do your job. Hopefully players and coaches see the same thing. Trust me. Oh, no. They see way more than what we see. Listen, I mean, that's why I always say, man, at the end of the day, I mean, like, even people think like, oh, man, like, oh, they're hearing this. They don't need to hear this, bro. We're not saying or showing anything on here that they don't already know. I promise you that. It's just a matter of, how they choose to go about it. This Obama podcast? I mean, you could probably say something like that. Popped up on my algorithm. Oh, well, welcome in. Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you're coming from that into things, yeah, it's definitely an Alabama podcast. But I wouldn't say like strictly. I mean, yes, probably 85% of the time we're talking Alabama for sure. But just so you know, I mean, I'm a former player, but I'm not one to sit here and we're not just going to be extremely biased and only talk. I mean, we're going to look at it from a very, very objective perspective. So, like, listen, I'll tell you, I give y'all's defense a whole bunch of credit. I love the way you guys play defense. You guys play fast, physical. I love the exotic pressures. I love the simulated pressures. Hell, y'all gave us fits in that first game. I respect y'all's defense. Yeah, I mean, shit, we just talk football, man. But with me being a former Alabama player, I mean, it's kind of, I mean, I'm just going to be straight up. I mean, like, we talk Alabama like 85% of the time, so. But, yeah, but I will say, man, y'all's offense, one thing that y'all got to find a way to get something going offensively. And welcome back into this Wednesday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. I know there's a couple other little already clipped up things. I'd almost rather do that. That way we don't have to worry about trying to skip through it ourselves. But, here's one that's already clipped up. You got Oklahoma's offensive coordinator showing some praise to a couple of our guys defensively. So, hey, let's get started there. We'll start that with our little run of press conference stuff. So here's Oklahoma offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle showing some praise as Alabama defense ahead of this matchup.
Bray Hubbard, I mean, he kind of shows up all over the film. He's an awesome player. They ask him to do quite a bit of stuff, and he doesn't turn anything down. And linebacker Lawson, he holds it down there in the front seven, does a great job in the box, does a great job whenever it's pass of getting out and just finding his way into throwing lanes. And that's the case for a lot of the players they have, but those two really stick out in my head as guys that just, they're asked to do a lot, and the coach has trust in them. But again, they try to put you in some really tough situations, and their guys go around and fly around and execute it. So they do a great job.
It's a lot of praise from their offensive coordinator, a couple of guys on our defense. Speaking of some guys on our defense, I will say, I told you guys not long ago that didn't anticipate LT being back for this game and probably, still being out for some time. So I think he's officially ruled out, if I'm not mistaken, on the injury report. But nonetheless, Kelby Collins is back. You'll have, Jordan Renaud, and I heard Kane Womack yesterday. I'll try to find the part, but just talking about the number of different groupings that you can come up with. And that's what I was mentioning, even, when it first happened. Jordan Renaud, definitely going to be the first one in line behind him. You'll see some Kelby Collins / Keon Keeley, but then also, depending on the situation and what they might be trying to do, sliding a guy like James Smith over to play that 4-eye technique, even maybe a 5 at times, right? Depending on kind of what you're trying to address or what you're getting thrown at you, wouldn't be a problem. That's literally exactly what he said that they planned on doing. So, again, defensively, man, looking at this, really, and I forgot to say this when we talked about some of those keys, capitalizing on the turnover opportunities, right? Having those, couple throws that Mateer, almost gifted you. You got to come up with those and really just trying to continue to do a good job stopping, his legs, right? When he's involved in the running game, that's a big one. And other than that, really just, man, you got to tackle a little bit better, right? A lot of the quick game, they're just dumping it off quick, screen game, all that stuff. Just trying to just, pick you apart and move down the football field that way. They don't really have a whole bunch of explosives to their game. But Mateer, while he is a little inconsistent, he's going to have some throws that do leave you kind of like, wow. He just doesn't do it really on a consistent basis. But we'll see. Maybe he's had some time to get a little bit healthier as well, and see how that can make a difference for that Oklahoma offense, who desperately is trying to find a little bit of a spark themselves. Speaking of offense, let's jump back over to our side of things. Our offensive coordinator was talking about our offense and maybe some ways to get some of our guys more involved in the offense. Ryan Williams being the player we're talking about here, which I think they've got to find a way, especially as we're trying to find our own spark offensively. Me and Slade, we broke down some tape yesterday. If you go back and watch, one of the only highlights from that SEC championship game offensively really was what Ryan Williams was able to do with the football after the catch. That's his God-given ability. He might be struggling a little bit with his hands or drops. It is what it is. That's part of the position at times. But the ability to make plays with the football in his hands, that has not gone anywhere. And you've got to find ways to not only get him involved, but keep him involved. Because I think, number one, it gives you some spark, and two, it probably will build his own confidence back up, and maybe it'll help get him back on that trajectory that we need him to be on. So this was Ryan Grubb speaking about Ryan Williams yesterday and how he can help get him more involved.
I think all the guys that are, touch players that you can get the ball in space. Certainly Ryan is that kind of guy. Now you got to have all the compliments to go with it. He certainly is a guy that can hurt you down the field as well. And those are the things you got to try to, paint the picture for the defense of what you want to do and where you're going to get the football. But Ryan can get it now at the line of scrimmage, in the backfield. He can get it down the field on post route. So those are the things that, the intermediary routes and things like that, I feel like, Ryan, when he's playing his best, is in all those positions.
So there you have it. So it seems like he's also well aware of, hey, we probably need to find ways to keep getting Ryan Williams a football, which I definitely agree with 100%, man. You got to get your playmakers the football, no matter how you got to do it. You got to find one way or another. He also had a remark that he made. It was about the offensive line. It was interesting, but I'll get to that here in a second because I don't have that pulled up. But we do have him talking about the status of tight end Josh Cuevas, who Roman also mentioned being a very important piece for this offense. Let's see what Ryan Grubb had to say regarding him.
Josh has been a huge part of the offense all year. So, for us, just, the run game, pass game, everything he can do is critical. We've missed him, his leadership, and his presence on the field for sure. Just playmaking ability, catching the ball, breaking tackles after he gets the football, which he certainly did, last time against Oklahoma. So he's been looking great, and we're excited to have him back out there.
Definitely think that could be a huge pickup or return for this offense. Last time these two teams played, like Roman mentioned, Cuevas was, I believe, the leading receiver in that game, had a number of really, big plays in the game, breaking tackles, making guys miss, and really just kind of being that security blanket for Ty. And I think that'll definitely help this offense continue to work to get back on track. But in terms of other guys making some returns, Jam is working his way back. I still don't know how healthy he'll be in this game. Just watching that clip from practice, he still looks a little gingerly. So I'm sure he'll probably be available. I just don't know to what status. But this was Ryan Grubb's remarks regarding Jam.
Yeah, Jam's always got fire. But yeah, he looks great. He's out there running around today. Did an awesome job. Feel like he'll be full go, ready to ready to contribute and help us keep rolling again.
So very brief there, but they're excited to get him back and see what he can do to help provide a spark. And in terms of sparks, well, that's what this offense desperately needs right now. So this was Ryan Grubb in his response to getting this offense back on track, who, again, at one point in the season was one of the better offenses in the country, one of the most explosive offenses in the country, definitely through the air, maybe not so much on the ground, but definitely had a lot more success in the first half than the back half of the season. So this was Ryan Grubb on how they need to get the offense back on track.
Hey, Ryan, to get the offense back to where it was when it was at its peak this season, what do you think needs to happen?
Well, obviously, we got to get a rhythm early in the football game. We're capable of that in the SEC championship. Besides taking a knee at the end of the half, I think we ran 19 plays in the first half of that game. 9 of them were runs. We just weren't effective at all. So it starts with just, moving the chains on third down. I think simply put, those are the things that we did really well early in the season and at the midpoint when we were on that 4-game run against some tough opponents. And the consistency in that is we're more than capable. We got great kids that play hard, smart, and they're more than capable of getting that done. So excited about the challenge.
So there you have it. Definitely more than capable, and he's excited about it. That challenge will be, well, not far out, about 2 days. And I was about to say 48 hours plus another 6.5. Was that 54.5 hours away? So we'll find out then if this offense has had enough time to get back on track. We got to hit a timeout to stay on track. When we come back, we'll keep rolling. We got Smitty on the phone lines. We'll hear from him, 205-342-9904. Plus, we'll keep on rolling right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC.
Your flagship home
of Alabama sports.
The road to the national title starts now. The Crimson Tide looks to get revenge on the Oklahoma Sooners in the first round of the college football playoffs. Friday, December 19th. First round coverage starts at 4 p.m. on your home for Alabama football.
The Tide Tailgate Show is presented by Pearl River Resort, DCH Regional Medical Center, 2 Dimes.
Sorry, I was looking at something real quick. Question from Phil. He says, do you think Grubb should go back or back up in the box, less distraction, and he originally preferred it, and Sheridan is already on the field? I'll be honest with you, Phil, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. I think it really just boils down to just preference. I mean, yes, there's pros and cons to having guys, in the box or down on the field. I mean, some of those would be, having a coach on the field. I mean, it's, easy to directly communicate with that guy. You're not calling up via the phone, right, or trying to, talk through a coach that's on the headset or passing the headset type deal. But the advantage for them to be up in the box is they have that aerial view. They're not relying on someone else with the aerial view to then, communicate to them on the sideline. Just depend. I mean, Lane Kiffin was a sideline guy when he was offensive coordinator here. He had damn good success. I mean, he, called plays from down there. I mean, it communicated with this guy, so it worked well. But I mean, I understand if a guy would rather be up in the box where he feels like he has a much better view, because that might make him feel more confident on what he's calling. So I don't think, Phil, that's like the biggest deal here. You know what I mean? Great question. I'm not trying to say like that, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it will, if he just goes up to the box and like that will fix the issues. I think it's really more of a comfort thing, depending on the coach, really. So, yeah, I mean, and I don't know him or his philosophy on that, honestly, really. I know he just mentioned he just felt it could help if he came down there. So maybe he wanted more. To me, that sounds like, hey, I want to be down there to immediately talk with my guys, whether it's the quarterback, line, the backs, whoever, which that makes sense. But if he's at a disadvantage being down there where he can't see the game as well as he would like, then, maybe do consider going back up there. Good question, though. But I think it really just boils down to preference and really what works for that coach or that team. In terms of LT's thing, I'm not going to get into all the specifics on here just because I don't talk about anything that's not officially talked about. You guys know I am, but yeah, I don't expect him to be available until they have some more updates on some stuff. But I mean, it's a big loss. But I mean, it is a big. I'm not gonna lie, it is a big loss because even though you got guys behind him that are serviceable guys, I'm just going to call a spade a spade. I mean, there's definitely a drop off from LT to Jordan Renaud / the other guys. I mean, like while they definitely like Renaud. I mean, he's a physical guy. I mean, he can definitely get in there, but LT is just top to bottom in terms of run defender, pass rush, reliability, the consistency at just being effective. It's a pretty big dip, but and it's part of it. Do you think we have addressed some of the offensive line issues? In what capacity? You mean just by like some of the rotating that we're doing? I mean, I think what you have is what you have. So, and I think what that is you got an All-American at left tackle in Caden Proctor, who's definitely a really good football player, susceptible to the speed rush still. He's gotten a lot better, but it's not perfect. But, he's one of your better guys. Left guard, I feel like you've settled in with Dewberry. Might give up some, in terms of pass pro. There's going to be some reps here or there where, he gets beat. I don't think he always has the best feet with that. He's a bigger guy, but he definitely can help get some good push up front. So you're settling there. Not settling, but you get what I'm saying. Like you're settling down with that. We've seen some rotation. I think they've kind of said, all right, left guard, that's what we got. Center is your center. He's just been banged up, but a good football player. Then it really just, left guard and the right side, just trying to figure that out. And I think when you look at it, I mean, Michael, it was interesting though. Ryan Grubb, let me see if I can find that. He said basically the reason Michael Carroll's playing was not because Wilkins a bad player. Which I mean, I never would think he would just say, "Oh man, yeah, this guy's been a bad player for us. We're not trying to play him." But he almost made it seem like they needed Wilkins more at guard. I guess this is kind of how he was wording it. But I mean, I don't know. Whether you're talking about Michael Carroll right now as a true freshman or Wilkins, I think either one of those guys is just going to be a little bit of a liability when it comes to pass pro. I just think it is what it is.
236829.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
Doing as much as you can to help those guys out. And welcome back into this Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We've been listening to some of these clippings from the press conferences. That way we can kind of just navigate through them, hit some of the key pieces. And before we hit the phone line, just one more thing. Talking about offensive line, got some questions there, which I'll say this. My assessment, I mean, offensive line play, has been decent for sure. I think, their protection this year has been better than what we've seen in the past couple years. I know it's still been musical chairs, and there hadn't always been consistency with the group in terms of trying to get the right guys, the right pieces in there. But, I would argue that in terms of keeping the pocket clean, consistently, they do a pretty solid job. There definitely has been some leaks here and there, and there's going to be some times, tackle gets beat, right, by a speed rush, whether it's the left side or right side. It happens. But for the most part, man, they haven't been playing very bad at all. And I think the biggest thing is they just got to, again, just try to find the right guys and get those guys playing with as much consistency as possible. Then even in terms of like the run blocking, finishing blocks, that's really one of the biggest things that we've seen from the group. So to me, I think there's a lot of things that you can clean up. I mean, I don't think that group's ever going to be perfect just because I don't think the personnel will allow for it, which is hard for any group to be perfect. But I definitely think there's some room to play even better and to get more out of those guys. So hopefully we can see that. And this is a quick little clip of Ryan Grubb talking about his offensive line and what he wants to see out of this group in this matchup.
Elite communication. The best communication they've had all year. That's what it's going to come down to, because in the first game, they did a good job of that. We had 2 negative yardage runs, which were actually gains of 0. We talked about that before. The sacks came on lack of communication. And, one of them really was probably Ty could have got out of his hand. But, ultimately for us, it's just going to come down to those guys communicating and everybody being on the same call.
So communication being a big piece there, as he mentioned. And remember, this is a good Oklahoma front that they'll be facing. One of the better fronts, definitely in the conference, in the country as well. So hopefully this offensive line can put together a pretty solid game. Like they had the first one again, like Roman mentioned, they rushed for, before you net wise, it ended up being around 80, but before that, I think it was around 100 yards. So one of our better performances against a good group. And like you mentioned, man, communication, and like I'm seeing on tape, I would definitely say finishing blocks would be huge for this group to have some success up front, which would be big in this game. 205-342-9904. Let's jump to the phone lines. We got Smitty up next. Smitty, welcome in.
How's it going, Christian?
Man, I can't complain, bro. What's up?
Man, first things first, before we talk about Alabama, how happy that you are that your Panthers are playing my Bucks and Dave Canales is your head coach. How happy that makes you feel?
Listen,
he was in over his head, by the way.
Brother, I'm just happy that we're playing better football. I mean, we're not perfect, but I mean, we're winning some football games. And I think if you're a Panthers fan or got any type of ties to them, that's about all you can ask for. I don't expect us to, win any crazy playoff games just yet. But hey, we're on the right track, man, and it's feels pretty good. But it is what it is, man. You get used to it.
Just be in the mix. Just be in the mix. As I always say, just get in the dance and see what happens.
That's
and
right.
like with this game here, I remember Bud Elliott was talking about his show, and I remember I went to that game where it was Clemson with Ohio State beat them, and that was the year before I went and they got screwed. But I remember watching it, and they were saying like how Ohio State, the second time around playing against the Venables defense at Clemson, that they got out of the huddle faster, and it's not to play faster, so he couldn't get a good look at what they're doing because he is so good at that, and I think that's something Alabama should really do with stuff like that. And also maybe do what Georgia did against Alabama. Move the pocket some as well. And not just have Toppy stationary against all-out blitzes all the time. I just think the thing is also they actually ran the ball okay. Of course the backs missed some holes, but they ran okay. And I think what happens is winning and losing. Sometimes when you win, it covers a lot of holes up. When you lose, sometimes it seems like a small hole is bigger than what it actually is.
Fair.
But it shows that you don't have the margin of error. And I think what Alabama has to do is get out ahead and make Oklahoma play from behind. You gotta treat Oklahoma like Iowa. You gotta get ahead of them 2 scores and make them play from behind. Because Material's going to give you something. Every game this dude played in, healthy or not, he's going to give you some interceptions. You just got to catch him. It stops Tanya from running that slant. That's the play they're looking for. I would make someone else on that offense beat me besides Tanya.
Yeah. I mean, and he was their key guy last game. I mean, you go back and look at it. And he had 4 receptions for 26 yards. For some reason I felt like he had way more activity in that game, but they definitely want to move the ball through him. I mean, he's one of their better playmakers for sure. So yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I think he's kind of like that player, that screen game they worked him on. I think he had that. It was credited for a rushing attempt, but they're trying to, he's a playmaker. He's the guy that they're trying to get the football in his hands. I literally think if you can contain Mateer with his legs and then do a good job on Sertania, I mean, and then like you said, capitalize on the turnovers, I think defense will be just fine. And that's why you're also right in terms of starting fast. Oklahoma's not built to be playing from behind like that. Their offense is not dependable when put in a position like that. So that will be big, and we'll see. Not going to be easy to get to a fast start necessarily like that, being on the road. A little bit more tough with those factors involved, especially early on. But I mean, if you can help try to take some of that life out of that crowd and deflate them a little bit, definitely will help us out.
Yeah, and the thing is, like with the receivers, right? So these guys sooner or later will have to make a contested catch. You know, and Ty got to throw it up sometimes it's one-on-one, but you got to make contested catches. But I also think with like our receivers and everybody on offense, special teams, whatever, this might not be the game to try to fight for extra yards because every time that last game they were doing a peanut punch, trying to knock the ball out. Sometimes possession is the most important thing, not trying to gain that extra 1 yard. Just go down. Sometimes it's best to go down when they got you because these guys are looking to rip the ball. But it's also incumbent on these guys to be strong with the ball in their hands too.
Yeah. No, 100%. And that's why, I mean, listen, our skill guys got to help Ty out. I mean, I think everybody has something that they can do a little bit better.
Help out.
Right? Yeah, I mean, like even go back to the Georgia game. I mean, listen, all the attention was all how bad Ty played and we didn't run the football and all those things. Yes, I mean, those are valid points and observations that we all can agree on. But I also would argue that there's a couple throws that Ty made that, I mean, could have made changes in the game. That one to Ryan Williams. I know there's pretty good, coverage on Georgia's half, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, the ball went through Ryan, it went through his hands. And, with him being the playmaker that he is, man, you expect him to be able to reel those in. That one that Horton had, earlier on, again, good coverage on Georgia's part. Not saying it's like he was just wide open. I mean, he had somebody in there trying to break it out, but a big, strong, he said, like the contested catch, man, he's a big, strong, physical guy, man. Like, you got to find a way to reel those in. If those guys make those catches, I mean, even those little things, what I'm saying? Like, most quarterbacks are like, not think about all the highlights that you see. How many times is it like, is it either the receiver or is it the quarterback? Like, it's always normally a balance. Sometimes these big highlight plays, it's a good throw, but it's really the receiver making it happen. We need our receivers to step up and be those guys. That would help us out tremendously. I just feel like we haven't seen a whole bunch of that. And there's even been times where the ball's been in great spots too, and they don't even make that one. So everybody's got to up their game a little bit.
I'll say this before I run. Thanks for taking my call as always.
Sure.
The thing is, every ball is not going to be perfect.
Right.
Sometimes the quarterback got to make you look good. Sometimes the quarterback got to make the offensive line look good. But sometimes those receivers got to make that quarterback look good. Like that Ryan Williams play you talked about. To me, that's ball skills.
Yep.
And yes, you could throw a screen pass to the guy he made people miss. But you making your money, and if you want to play in the league and make your money, those are the plays that they paying you on. Not throwing you a screen pass, because if that was the case, they could pick you in the 5th round for that. It's being real.
No, listen, you're right, but this is what I would say, Smitty. Though, my thing is, even whether it's a screen or what, I'm just saying, you find ways to get him the football, and not just like there's so many things you can do, and I mentioned this, but like rub routes, like little things that you like that are guaranteed. Like, hey, exactly, scheme them open, right? That is a guarantee. Get somebody to run a clear out route, whatever, hit him, boom, underneath, and just let him work his magic. I mean, you'd be shocked, man. I mean, like I guarantee you, if you find ways to have more of that in the game plan, I'm telling you, he's going to make guys miss. He's going to break. I mean, like, and those can be, changing moments in the football game. I just think we got to get back to that. Like, we haven't really done as much of that. I get that he's going through a little bit of a slump, but to me, that's like, man, you can't completely just not involve like that Auburn, game plan, and he didn't have any.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, I'm like, you can't just not have anything. I'm like, you got to find at least something, bro. Like, if everybody else was eating and we're throwing for 400 plus without them, whatever, all right, maybe. But I'm like, bro, we're struggling right now. Like, you can't be too stubborn, man. I just personally, I don't think that's the right move.
And you know what, Christian? Sometimes you just got to throw a deep pass. Hey, you one-on-one, just throw it up.
True, yeah. No, listen, now, when they're in that 3 high look, I would be careful with that. Yeah, right there, be a little careful. But you're right. I mean, just try to do something to keep the defense honest. That's the thing. I just like those little details that we're talking about right now. I just feel like haven't really been showing up, and it makes the defense's job much easier to defend. It makes the defense have the ability to play much more aggressive. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm saying you got to throw these little wrinkles and you got to do these things to help keep them true and honest. Recently, they hadn't been that kid. I mean, that's why Schumann, that's why these guys, LSU, bro, they're just sending heat because, I mean, why wouldn't they? I mean, where there's not a true deep threat. Like I know Tia brought up the whole point about taking advantage of pressure. When have you seen us get pressured and then we hit like some long shot and some long deep ball on somebody because they got aggressive? I don't really, nothing's come to my mind like that. I mean, we've probably done it, but not frequently. But that's why, to your point, that's why you do have to challenge teams like that. You got to at least, even if you, like you said, even if whether you make it or not, hell, you might pick up a pass interference call, right? That might happen, or you're at least kind of putting it in their head, hey, man, you're keeping them honest. I hope, I agree with what you're saying. I hope we do see some more of those little details and those little wrinkles, because I think it could help this offense a whole bunch.
And thanks for taking my call. And by the way, Ty has to not be afraid of turning the ball over. You're going to have to let it rip sometimes, because if he's scared to turn the ball over, you're going to not be perform to your standards, if you get what I'm saying. Because if you're scared to make a mistake, you're going to make a mistake.
No, you're 100% right. I just get worried about there's a little balance with that. And while I agree 100%, like they always say, like if you're over here worried about getting hurt, that's typically when you get hurt. Yeah, but I'm thinking, only thing I'm thinking of, I'm like, man, the way these dudes play, man, I'm like, you definitely want to try to have confidence, but I'm like, Smitty, you gotta be careful trying to force stuff in with these dudes, the way they disguise and stuff. I'm like, man, just make sure you're seeing what you're seeing. If you're gonna do that, please don't, because I'm telling you, that's what they're hoping on in this game. They're banking that, hey, if we can force some more turnovers and force some bad decisions, we'll be okay. We know our offense. They know their offense ain't all that. If they can force those turnovers, they feel confident. So just got to be a little careful. But I agree with what you're saying. I definitely, the mindset is correct.
You have a good one, good brother. Take it easy.
Yes, sir. Always, Smitty. I appreciate you, man. You too. All right, let's hit this quick timeout. We come back. We wrap things up on this Wednesday edition. We're not done yet, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. One more segment, and then we'll roll on out of here and pass on over to Wyatt right here, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. All right, let's see. Best way to tame an aggressive defense is to run right at it. Pass rushers have to earn the right to pass rush. That's true, Latoya. That's true. But I will say, yes, I mean, if you're playing a team that's got like some burners on the edge, right? Some guys that love to get after it, 100%, man, run at them, right? Because a lot of times they take themselves out of the play. They're getting so eager trying to get upfield. They're trying to get after the quarterback. There's some opportunities, but the way these guys are aggressive, Latoya, it's a little bit different. I mean, R. Mason Thomas is definitely that, but I would argue their aggressiveness, I mean, it comes from all over. It's not just like, they got, two edge guys that are really just, flying off the rock. I mean, we'll see them even on rundowns. I mean, they bring different little pressures and things, plug backers. You see a lot of the run twist stunts like we do a lot of. So, yeah, I mean, there's a number of things that they do. That's what makes it tough to play a defense like Oklahoma. Not only are they, good players, but they're coached extremely well, and they throw a lot at you that shows you one thing, then they get to a whole different thing afterwards. I mean, it's a challenge. It really is. Were you aware of your former teammate Henry Ruggs earned his bachelor's degree? No, you don't need to apologize, brother. No, you're good, man. Sam, it's a 2-hour show, man. No, you're fine. No, we didn't even hit that. I did read that, and no, I love that for him. I was just a little confused because I saw like a few days before that he got moved to from what I read, maybe like a higher security level prison. And I guess they say typically that means like maybe there was some type of infraction or like something may have caused that. So I was more so just hoping he didn't, get involved in anything. Because no, number one, knowing him, that's not his character, So I would just hate that if he just found himself in an unfortunate situation that I know for 100%, without even knowing anything, it wouldn't have been anything initiated by him. But no, that's awesome, man. Listen, I tell people all the time that is such a, terrible situation. Number one, because of the situation itself. You had a young lady that lost her life and her dog. I mean, listen, you guys know I'm a big dog guy. I mean, I hate the whole situation all around. But then what makes it even worse? Because that's already bad enough, right? The the victim in the case, right? But knowing, I mean, if anybody knows him personally, man, like when I tell you, I mean, it literally was a situation of a great dude. I'm not gonna call him a kid. I mean, I'm older than him, but he's grown. A great dude that just was in a very unfortunate situation. Made a mistake. Like we're not Ruggs never partied in college. Ruggs went drinking and smoking and stuff like that. I mean, Ruggs was. I say was like we get what I'm saying. Like while we were in school, very respectful. He handled himself extremely well. I mean, like it's just so unfortunate. But he got moved, some infraction, terrible situation. Glad he's trying to make something though. Yeah, I saw that. Hopefully it wasn't anything.
100.9.
Too bad. And welcome back into this Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Todd 100.9, 1230 WTBC. All right, we only got like 2 minutes left here. So, Chase, we never hit the news on the new hire, right? So we've been talking so much about this game, which, hey, rightfully so. I mean, it's coming up. We needed to catch back up on it. Tomorrow, we'll talk more defensively. Kane Womack spoke. We'll probably just listen to the whole interview. We'll have plenty of time to do that. We do have some guests lined up. Excuse me, so be prepared for that. We got Rodney Anderson, former Alabama. Back up. Hold on. Flag on the play. Rodney Anderson, former Oklahoma running back. He'll be joining us tomorrow at 11:30. Then we'll have Slade jumping back on around top of the hour, and we'll keep breaking this down. But real quick, I only got a minute or two to talk about this. We did officially make the hire to replace Coach Shep, who, as you guys know, he was hired to be the next head coach at Oregon State. So we found his replacement, and I actually think it's a very solid hire. News came out yesterday that Alabama is set to hire former Auburn offensive coordinator, going in enemy territory, and hiring Derek Nix as the wide receiver coach. Now, he had served at Ole Miss prior. He was there for a long time. He has a lot of experience as a running back coach, some years as a wide receiver coach. I believe once Lane Kiffin got there, he transitioned from running backs to wide receivers. I think he was responsible for Elijah Moore, who I think ended up being an All-American. I think several, 1,000-yard receivers and whatnot to his credit. While he was at Auburn, he wasn't coaching the receivers. He was actually the backs/offensive coordinator. That said, I think it's a really good hire for several reasons here. Number one, I look at it as a guy who's got deep ties, not only in the SEC, but in the state of Alabama, right? So that's always huge. I think that's important. People talk about Kalen DeBoer's ability to recruit, and while they're doing well, again, not to take any credit from him because he does a great job for his role. But I'm just going to tell you guys the way it works is, you got to have the right people around you. That's just a fact. And a guy like this is the right type of guy that will help you continue to have success recruiting, these areas, these parts, right? Alabama, Louisiana, Florida, Mississippi, all these. This guy's he's been doing it. So I think that's a big get there. He's got experience calling plays, working as an offensive coordinator / running backs coach. I know he's not working in that role here, but best believe when these guys sit around a round table and they're meeting, right, as coaches, it's always good to have an extra set of eyes and ears, especially with guys with different backgrounds. I mean, you got Nick Sheridan on staff who was serving as, co-offensive coordinator. He spent time as a coordinator. Whether you think he's a great coordinator or not, the fact that he has that experience, it always helps the group as a whole, and I think that's what you're getting out of a guy like this. In terms of development for receivers, I think it's pretty solid. I wouldn't say it's probably like, the most extensive background, but listen, in today's day and age, half the time that's not the biggest thing anyway. And at least he does have experience doing it. It's not he's never done it. So that would be my only thing. I don't know, like versus a guy that's been coaching receivers 15 plus years. But like I said, I'm not worried about that. I think we'll be just fine. And I think it's an excellent hire that's going to pay off big time. We got to get out of here. Big thanks to everybody joining us. Chase Behind the Glass, all you listeners, Todd 100.9, YouTube, all that good stuff. Looking forward to doing it again tomorrow right here on the Miller's Edge, Todd 100.9, 1230 WTBC.
You've been listening to the Miller's Edge, tackling sports daily.
Appreciate it, Chase. All right. I'm gonna get out of here in a second. Sorry I had to rush off. I always wait till last second to get off of the radio, so I got to be quick because we got other shows coming up. But yeah, no problem, Sam, for sure, man. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. If you haven't already, man, just hit that like button on the way out. That always helps out. I think we're close to 40. If we can hit goals, always we pushed the goal up, man. We've had a lot more. We're at 36, so we can get to 40, man. That'd be great. But we'll have Rodney joining us tomorrow. We'll talk the Alabama-Oklahoma game with him. A little bit more on the Oklahoma side of things, get kind of his thoughts and everything going on. Slade will jump back on with us tomorrow at the top of the hour, and we'll keep on rolling. Then Friday, I think we're open right now, but I'll let you guys know if we get a guest lined up for that. But yeah, man, no, I do think this is a good hire. I think it's going to work out well. Like I said, it's not like I'm doubting his ability to develop. I don't want to make it seem like that. I'm just saying that his background, I mean, he played running back, I think at Southern Miss, coached running backs for years, and he probably has, out of probably 20-something plus years coaching, I think, he's coached receivers probably 4 or 5 years out of his career. So I just always look at that aspect because I know a lot of times, man, in this day and age with recruiting being so important, a lot of times you'll have like coaches that are hired for what they can do recruiting, and it's like, all right, he's good enough, right, at the position part. But I always think, man, development is huge. I don't care. I know transfer portal and all that stuff. I get all that, but I'm still a big proponent of developing players, getting the most out of them. So that's, like I said, that if there's one thing I would say about it, I would just say I'm just curious to see the developmental aspect. Even though, again, the guys he had at Ole Miss were good players. I guess the word I'm looking for, just a little bit limited when it comes to receiver development, just because he spent so much time as a running backs coach. But nonetheless, I still give it if I had to give it a grade, I'd probably say like B+. I would say probably B+, maybe A-. But definitely a really good hire in my opinion. And let's be clear before people freak out, right? I think an A would be like Ohio State's receivers coach, right? So I mean, a B+ is a really good grade, right? I think an A would be somebody like that, where you're like, hey, this guy is like the best at the position. He's developed X amount of receivers, this, that, and the third. Guys like, you get what I'm saying? So when I say B+, that's definitely a big hire. I like it. That's who I was anticipating and kind of hoping that they'd probably go for, just because I think it's good presence to have around here. Show's getting better. Oh, we got a super chat from Philly. He said, show's getting better every week. Appreciate it. Hey, man, thank you so much. Like I told you guys, man, we're trying to get more people on here, more content for you, doing all that good stuff, man. Trying to do everything I can. So I just appreciate all y'all support, man, whether it's just listening in, sharing the video, sharing stuff, the super chats, all that stuff, man. It's much appreciated. So big thanks to all you guys. Seriously, you guys make it possible. And I will just say this, we with the new year coming in, we got some sponsorship stuff opening up. So if you guys have any businesses or know anybody that's interested, we got some availabilities coming open. So let me know if you guys are interested in that, and I can definitely tell you guys more information about that. So I think it was an excellent hire. Yeah, no, I think it's a good one for sure too. That said, we're gonna get out of here. We'll be back at it tomorrow, 11 o'clock Central Time per usual. But big thanks to all you guys. Appreciate you, and we'll see you guys.